Anoche cuando bailaba vi que mis pasos daba de dos en dos. Era que estaba temblando y con tanta bulla ni se notó. El ritmo que se tocaba tenía más fuerza que todo aquel temblor. Y nadie quiso salirse para dejar ese pachangón. ¿Dónde te agarró el temblor? En medio de la cocina. ¿Dónde te agarró el temblor? Bailando con Catalina. ¿Dónde te agarró el temblor? En casa de la vecina. ¿Dónde te agarró el temblor? Muy cerquita del portón. Anoche cuando bailaba vi que mis pasos daban de dos en dos. Era que estaba temblando y con tanta bulla ni se notó. El ritmo que se tocaba tenía más fuerza que todo aquel temblor. Y nadie quiso salirse para dejar ese pachangón. ¿Dónde te agarró el temblor? En medio de la cocina. ¿Dónde te agarró el temblor? Bailando con Catalina. ¿Dónde te agarró el temblor? En casa de la vecina. ¿Dónde te agarró el temblor? Muy cerquita del portón.
Si voy a Arcelia, a Macuspana o a Champotón. Es musiquera de lo que toco, pero además tiene su cartel, porque ella tiene muchos detalles que todo mundo los puede ver. De Quenchón,
esos ojos que miran bonito.
De Quenchón,
esas manos que a mí me acarician.
De Quenchón,
los piecitos que bailan mi ritmo.
De Quenchón,
los detalles que me gustan más.
Porque le gusto como yo soy. Me sigue a Huautla, me sigue a Puebla y a Catemaco por puro amor. Es muy graciosa, joven y rica y es muy bonita como mujer. Pero las prendas que la decoran, todito el mundo las puede ver. De Quenchón,
esos ojos que miran bonito.
De Quenchón,
esas manos que a mí me acarician.
De Quenchón,
los piecitos que bailan mi ritmo.
De Quenchón,
los detalles que me gustan más.
De Quenchón,
los piecitos que bailan mi ritmo.
De Quenchón,
los detalles que me gustan más.
mira que bien me va el carnaval. Es una nena chilanga que está como quiere estar. Desempeñar en mi traje porque le quiero cantar. Y el rollo que pienso echarle ya muy de las de acá. Don't que mami,
Tú dirás lo que hay que hacer.
don't que mami,
Mira que te quiero ver.
don't que mami,
Eres algo sin igual.
don't que mami.
Para mí eres especial.
Esa chamaca tan chula baila muy bien rock and roll. La rumba, el mere que tenga el 6x8 y el son. Desempeñar en mi traje porque le voy a cantar. Y el rollo que pienso echarle ya muy de las de acá. Don't que mami,
Tú dirás lo que hay que hacer.
don't que mami,
Mira que te quiero ver.
don't que mami,
Eres algo sin igual.
don't que mami.
Para mí eres especial.
Don't que mami,
Tú dirás lo que hay que hacer.
don't que mami,
Mira que te quiero ver.
don't que mami,
Eres algo sin igual.
don't que mami.
Para mí eres especial.
Ahora les voy a contar cómo es que el sapo se mata, él solito sin querer. Un día salta y se ensarta, nunca deja de saltar. Pasa la vida saltando, salta que salta y que salta, y solo se acaba ensartando.
¿Qué culpa tiene la estaca? El sapo salta y se ensarta. Si el sapo salta y se ensarta, la culpa no es de la estaca. ¿Qué culpa tiene la estaca? Si el sapo salta y se ensarta. Si el sapo salta y se ensarta, la culpa no es de la estaca. Taca, taca, que taca y taca. La culpa no es de la estaca. Taca, taca, que taca y taca. Si el sapo salta y se ensarta. Taca, taca, que taca y taca. La culpa no es de la estaca. Taca, taca, que taca y taca. Si el sapo salta y se ensarta.
Ahora les voy a contar cómo es que el sapo se mata, él solito sin querer. Un día salta y se ensarta, nunca deja de saltar. Pasa la vida saltando, salta que salta y que salta, y solo se acaba ensartando.
¿Qué culpa tiene la estaca? Si el sapo salta y se ensarta. Si el sapo salta y se ensarta, la culpa no es de la estaca. ¿Qué culpa tiene la estaca? Si el sapo salta y se ensarta. Si el sapo salta y se ensarta, la culpa no es de la estaca. Taca, taca, que taca y taca. La culpa no es de la estaca. Taca, taca, que taca y taca. Si el sapo salta y se ensarta. Taca, taca, que taca y taca. La culpa no es de la estaca. Taca, taca, que taca y taca. Si el sapo salta y se ensarta. Taca, taca, que taca y taca. La culpa no es de la estaca. Taca, taca, que taca y taca. Si el sapo salta y se ensarta. Taca, taca, que taca y taca. La culpa no es de la estaca. Taca, taca, que taca y taca. Si el sapo salta y se ensarta.
gandalla, muy bueno pa'l vacilón.
Chido, 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 chido. Chido, 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 chon.
Si usted quiere conocerme, póngame mucha atención.
Chido, 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 chido. Chido, 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 chon.
Aquí les va este gandalla, muy bueno pa'l vacilón.
Chido, 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 chido. Chido, 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 chon.
Si usted quiere conocerme, póngame mucha atención. Masco chicle, pego duro, tengo chavas de a montón. Fumo en pipa, viajo en bici y a los tranzas doy cortón.
Como tequis doy proteína y me bailo rock and roll.
Si mis cuates tienen broncas, yo soy referí de box.
Chido, 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 chido. Chido, 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 chon.
Aquí les va este gandalla, muy bueno pa'l vacilón.
Chido, 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 chido. Chido, 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 chon.
Si usted quiere conocerme, póngame mucha atención. Voy al cine, voy al teatro, tengo un primo luchador. Fumo en pipa, viajo en bici, a los tranzas doy cortón.
Doy consejos, doy saludos y esquinazo al cobrador.
Hago rifas, hago tandas, pero nunca soy fiador.
Mamita a mí me dijo, no juegues con las nenas, porque pierdes tu tiempo y no vale la pena. Por eso yo he pensado que en esta noche buena,
Los nenes con los nenes, la nena con la nena. Los nenes con los nenes, la nena con la nena. Los nenes con los nenes, la nena con la nena. Los nenes con los nenes, la nena con la nena.
yo pienso bailar mucho al ritmo y con candela, con Olga, con Martita, con Luisa y con Elena. Por eso yo he pensado que en esta noche buena,
Los nenes con los nenes, la nena con la nena. Los nenes con los nenes, la nena con la nena. Los nenes con los nenes, la nena con la nena. Los nenes con los nenes, la nena con la nena.
mi amiga más querida se llama Magdalena, y si le doy un beso a ella le da pena. Por eso mami dice que en esta noche buena,
Los nenes con los nenes, la nena con la nena. Los nenes con los nenes, la nena con la nena. Los nenes con los nenes, la nena con la nena. Los nenes con los nenes, la nena con la nena. Los nenes con los nenes, la nena con la nena. Los nenes con los nenes, la nena con la nena. Los nenes con los nenes, la nena con la nena. Los nenes con los nenes, la nena con la nena. Los nenes con los nenes, la nena con la nena. Los nenes con los nenes,
Pobrecito mi cigarro, un día te han de culpar cuando el corazón cansado me deje de funcionar.
Cuando el corazón cansado me deje de funcionar.
Y a lo largo de la vida fumar, fumar y pensar, sueños envueltos en humo, que son humo nada más.
Sueños envueltos en humo y eran humo nada más.
Larga la madrugada, cuánto tarda en aclarar. Bien haya mi cigarrito, hermano en mi soledad.
Bien haya mi cigarrito, hermano en mi soledad.
Y a lo largo de la vida, fumar, fumar y pensar, sueños envueltos en humo, eran humo nada más.
Sueños envueltos en humo, y eran humo nada más.
guitarra, en el aire algún cantar y el humito del cigarro que no sabe a dónde va.
Y el humito del cigarro que no sabe a dónde va.
Y a lo largo de la vida, fumar, fumar y pensar, sueños envueltos en humo que son humo nada más.
Sueños envueltos en humo y eran humo nada más.
Pobrecito mi cigarro, un día te han de culpar, cuando el corazón cansado deje de funcionar, deje de funcionar, deje de funcionar, deje de funcionar.
Catalina le pegó,
Catalina le pegó,
Catalina le pegó,
Catalina le pegó,
porque desobedecía,
Catalina le pegó,
porque desobedecía.
Catalina le pegó.
Alejandro es un chiquillo muy travieso que hace enojar a mamita, sus papitos, sus hermanos y también a Catalina. Catalina por su parte es una prima de Alejandro que tiene muy mal carácter, para nada sea comida. Es por eso que
Catalina le pegó,
es por eso que
Catalina le pegó,
y es por eso que
Catalina le pegó,
es por eso que
Catalina le pegó.
Catalina le pegó,
Catalina le pegó,
Catalina le pegó,
Catalina le pegó,
porque desobedecía,
Catalina le pegó,
porque desobedecía.
Catalina le pegó.
Cuando sale de la escuela se pone a cazar insectos entre moscas, mariposas, alacranes y una que otra lagartija, que no son precisamente para hacer experimentos, sino para hacerle bromas a su prima Catalina. Es por eso que
Catalina le pegó,
es por eso que
Catalina le pegó,
es por eso que
Catalina le pegó,
es por eso que
Catalina le pegó.
y es por eso que
Catalina le pegó,
es por eso que
Catalina le pegó,
es por eso que
Catalina le pegó,
es por eso que
Catalina le pegó.
Los hijos de mamá, yo soy el gallo pelón, soy el que toma marrón con más extremosidad.
De los hijos de mamá, yo soy el gallo pelón, soy el que toma marrón con más extremosidad.
Comadrita la rana,
Señor, señor,
llegó su marido,
sí señor,
¿y qué le trajo?
un rebozo,
¿De qué color?
verde limón,
Vamos a misa,
tengo camisa,
oye el sermón,
no tengo calzón,
la botellita
tiene tapita,
y el botellón.
no tiene tapón. Quítale, 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 quítale el tapón. Quítale, 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 quítale el tapón, pom, pom. No tiene tapón, pom, pom, no tiene tapón.
Mi madre me dijo a mí que no me casé con tuertas, porque cuando están dormidas parece que están despiertas.
Mi madre me dijo a mí que no me casé con tuertas, porque cuando están dormidas parece que están despiertas.
Comadrita la rana,
Señor, señor,
llegó su marido,
sí señor,
¿y qué le trajo?
un rebozo,
rebozo.
¿De qué color?
Verde limón.
Vamos a misa.
No tengo camisa.
Hoy el sermón.
No tengo calzón.
La botellita
No tiene tapita.
y el botellón.
No tiene tapón. Quítale, 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 quítale el tapón. Quítale, 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 quítale el tapón. Pom, pom. No tiene tapón. Pom, pom. No tiene tapón.
Las Pascuas debieran ser cada vez que hubiera luna y tener una laguna de aguardiente para beber.
Las Pascuas debieran ser cada vez que hubiera luna y tener una laguna de aguardiente para beber.
Comadrita la rana,
Señor, señor,
llegó su marido.
sí señor,
¿Y qué le trajo?
un rebozo.
¿De qué color?
Verde limón.
Vamos a misa.
No tengo camisa.
Hoy el sermón.
No tengo calzón.
La botellita
No tiene tapita.
y el botellón.
No tiene tapón. Quítale, 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 quítale el tapón. Quítale, 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 quítale el tapón. Pom, pom. No tiene tapón. Pom, pom. No tiene tapón.
De los hijos de mamá, yo soy el gallo pelón. Soy el que toma más ron con más extremosidad.
De los hijos de mamá, yo soy el gallo pelón. Soy el que toma más ron con más extremosidad.
Comadrita la rana,
Señor, señor,
llegó su marido.
sí señor,
¿Y qué le trajo?
un rebozo.
¿De qué color?
Verde limón.
Vamos a misa. La mujer moderna ya no quiere trabajar, no le gustan los quehaceres ni las cosas del hogar, no les gusta la costura, no les gusta cocinar, no les gusta la lavada ni se diga de planchar. Pero para el amor
Y la bailada,
para eso sí que no,
te dice nada,
pero para eso de,
la vacilada,
eso sí se lo aprenden.
de volada.
Pero para el amor,
Y la bailada,
para eso sí que no,
te dice nada,
pero para eso de,
la vacilada,
eso sí se lo aprenden.
de volada.
La mujer moderna quiere todo facilito, casa con 2 pisos, carro nuevecito. Quieres un chequera, viajar en avión, ya no viajan en el metro y mucho menos en camión. Pero para el amor,
Y la bailada,
para eso sí que no,
te dice nada,
pero para eso de,
la vacilada,
eso sí se lo aprenden.
de volada.
Pero para el amor,
Y la bailada,
para eso sí que no,
te dice nada,
pero para eso de,
la vacilada,
eso sí se lo aprenden.
de volada.
Macorina, ponme la mano aquí. La mujer moderna con esa liberación ya no quiere usar vestido, hoy prefiere el pantalón. No les gusta que las manden, hoy prefieren gobernar. Y si te pones al brinco, pues te mandan a volar. Pero para el amor,
Y la bailada,
para eso sí que no,
te dice nada,
pero para eso de,
la vacilada,
eso sí se lo aprenden.
de volada.
Pero para el amor,
Y la bailada,
para eso sí que no,
te dice nada,
pero para eso de, eso sí se lo aprenden. Hablando de las muchachas, nadie se pone de acuerdo. A unos les gustan gordas a otros pollos muy tiernos. Si un amigo me pregunta que cómo es mi prenda amada, pensando en mi muñequita, tan solo respondo yo:
ni tan gorda ni tan flaca, que no sea tan amiguera, con principios muy morales y que mucho a mí me quiera.
Cariñosa, comprensiva, siempre novia, siempre amante, muy buena para la cocina, pero más para el amor. Hablando de las muchachas, hay por demás discusiones, que si una potranca es dócil o tiene 1000 pretensiones. Por eso te recomiendo que pongan mucho cuidado a los mensajes que manda tu sufrido corazón.
Ni tan gorda ni tan flaca, que no sea tan amiguera, con principios muy morales y que mucho a mí me quiera.
Cariñosa, comprensiva, siempre novia, siempre amante, muy buena para la cocina, pero más para el amor.
Ni tan gorda ni tan flaca, que no sea tan amiguera, con principios muy morales y que mucho a mí me quiera.
Cariñosa, comprensiva, siempre novia, siempre amante, muy buena para la cocina, pero más para el amor.
¿Qué ha pasado con mi compadre que viene de medio lado? ¿Qué ha pasado con mi compadre que viene tan preocupado? Su mujer ayer por la tarde corriendo se fue al mercado. Y parece que a mi compadre seguro me lo han limpiado.
Cuando la patrona sale, es preciso que me crea. El bolsillo del marido se tambalea, se tambalea, se tambalea.
Para todos los que me escuchan, seguro les digo tengan cuidado, porque sé que a muchos de ustedes seguro les ha pasado. Duérmanse con un ojo abierto y el otro medio cerrado, y a la puerta de su ropero le meten un buen candado.
Cuando la patrona sale, es preciso que me crea. El bolsillo del marido se tambalea, se tambalea, se tambalea. Se tambalea.
salió el sol, ya aparece el nuevo día, ya todo es luz y alegría. El colibrí, el platanal, se divisa el caserío, se oye el murmullo del río.
Qué lindo es cuando amanece y qué linda es la mañana. Dios te bendiga mil veces, oh mi tierra mexicana.
Ya amaneció, ya salió el sol, ya aparece el nuevo día, ya todo es luz y alegría. El colibrí, el platanar, ya se divisa el caserío, se oye el murmullo del río.
Qué lindo es cuando amanece y qué linda es la mañana. Dios te bendiga mil veces, oh mi tierra mexicana. Qué lindo es cuando amanece y qué linda es la mañana. Dios te bendiga mil veces, oh mi tierra mexicana.
Voy a decírtelo de una manera fácil, de una manera fácil. Voy a decírtelo desde hace tiempo que tú me ofreciste amor a cambio de mis besos. Me ofreciste amor,
Dámelo, dámelo, dámelo,
dame tu corazón,
dámelo, dámelo, dámelo,
dame tu amor,
dámelo, dámelo, dámelo,
dame tu corazón,
dámelo, dámelo, dámelo.
dame tu amor. Voy a decírtelo de una manera fácil, de una manera fácil. Voy a decírtelo desde hace tiempo que tú me ofreciste amor a cambio de mis besos. Me ofreciste amor,
Dámelo, dámelo, dámelo,
dame tu corazón,
dámelo, dámelo, dámelo,
dame tu amor,
dámelo, dámelo, dámelo,
dame tu corazón,
dámelo, dámelo, dámelo,
dame tu amor,
dámelo, dámelo, dámelo,
dame tu corazón, Dame tu amor,
Dámelo, dámelo, dámelo,
dame tu corazón,
Chico Che,
dámelo, dámelo, dámelo.
dame tu amor.
Todo lo que soñé era mentira. Tus ojos inocentes me engañaban. Tus labios lo que tanto me besaban. Poco tiempo después me maldecían. Tu pecho de mujer, nido de hiena, destrozó el corazón que te adoraba. Ya mañana sabrás lo que son penas. Todo en el mundo para ti acabó.
Sembraste en mi vida los odios y los rencores.
Recoge la cosecha
De tus tristes amores, yo ya no seré el mismo. En mí todo murió. Tú no vales un rato de tristeza.
todo en el mundo para ti acabó. Tu pecho de mujer, nido de hiena, destrozó el corazón que te adoraba.
Ya mañana sabrás lo que son penas. Todo en el mundo para ti acabó.
Falsa mujer, eres falsa. Falsa mujer, eres falsa. Falsa mujer, eres falsa. Falsa mujer, eres falsa. Ya mañana sabrás lo que son penas. Todo en el mundo para ti acabó.
The business of industrial gases. Part 1. The factory that breathe. The invisible industry that keep the world running. Every day people depend on factory that they will never see. Steel mill reducing the beam that hold up the skyscraper. Semiconductor fab manufacturing the processor, ID inside smartphone and iServer. Hobby store delivering life-saving oxygen. Till intensive care unit. Food processing plant freezing seafood within minutes. On leaving the ocean. Rocket launch facility repairing spacecraft for journey beyond Earth. At first glance, these places seem to have almost nothing in common. Different industry, different technology, different product. Yet they all share one dependency so fundamental that without it, their operation would stop almost immediately. Most people assume that dependency is electricity. After all, every modern factory consumes enormous amount of power. Like robot, computer, industrial machinery, everything appears to run on electricity. But as an engineer inside one of the world's most advanced manufacturing facility, that would shut production down first. The answer may surprise you. Not electricity, gas, invisible gas. Imagine walking through one of the largest semiconductor factories on Earth. The clean room clean stretch across football field. Machine worth hundreds of millions of dollars operating with astonishingly precision. Every second, silicon wafer move through hundreds of carefully controlled manufacturing steps. Then imagine one critical supply suddenly stop. No electricity, nitrogen. Within minutes, contamination risks begin to rise. Sensitive equipment can no longer maintain the own clean environment required for production. Manufacturing slow, then stop. Now travel thousands of miles to a steel mill. Molten iron glow brighter than the sun. Gigantic furnaces transform raw material into the steel that fuels cities. Again, imagine the electricity remain available. The oxygen supply is bare. The furnaces cannot operate at design. Production fall dramatically. The plant is forced to shut down. Next step inside a modern hospital. Patient in intensive care rely on continuous supply of medical oxygen. Operating room, emergency department, neonatal unit. Every breath is count for countless patients depend on the gas so common in the atmosphere we rarely think about it. Yet the oxygen flowing through orbital byline is nothing like the air outside. That's been verified, compressed, transported, monitored, and delivered through one of the most sophisticated supply systems of modern healthcare. Now visit a food processing facility. Fresh seafood, frozen vegetable, remove meat. Many are reserved using liquid nitrogen, cold enough to freeze product within moments. Protecting texture, flavor, and quality. Without that invisible liquid, entire production in line with slow spoilage would increase and global food distribution would become far more difficult. Finally, stand beside the launch pad moment before the rocket leaves the Earth. Towering above you is one of the most complex machines humanity has ever built. Yet before ignition, enormous quantity of liquid oxygen and liquid hydrogen are pumped into the vehicle. Without those gases, there is no launch, no cell line, no mission, no journey into space. Semiconductor, steel, medicine, food, space exploration. For industry, one visual foundation. Industrial gases, not the air we breathe, but the gases purified to salary level, transported to vast hidden network, and produced by an industry that most people have never heard of. Behind nearly every major manufacturing economy stands a remarkably small group of companies that do not sell smartphones, they do not manufacture automobile, they do not build aircraft. Instead, they supply the invisible molecule that make all of those industries possible. Companies like Linde, Air Reducts, their name rarely appear in the headline. Their products are almost never advertised to consumer. Yet together, they generate $10 billion every year by selling something that surrounds us every second of our life. Not ordinary air, but air transformed into one of the world's most valuable industry resources. Because the modern economy doesn't simply run on electricity, it breathes, and the company that control invisible red have quietly become one of the most important businesses on Earth. To understand how they build the hidden empire, we first need to answer the salary question. How did humanity learn to turn atmosphere itself to the one of the world's most profitable industry? Part 2. Before it became industry, how humanity learned to separate the atmosphere every second. Each droplet inhales roughly 78% nitrogen, about 21% oxygen, a small amount of argon, tiny traces of carbon dioxide and other gases. To us, air feels simple, invisible, free, and endless. For most human history, exactly how we both view it. The atmosphere was something you breathe, not something you manufacture. No one imagined it could become one of the world's largest industrial businesses. Because how do you solve something that already surrounds everyone? The answer begins with one simple realization. The air around us isn't one subticle, it's mixture. If the gases could somehow be separated, each one would unlock entirely new different industry. Oxygen could make steel reduction dramatically faster. Nitrogen could protect delicate electronics from contamination. Argon could create cleaner fuel. Hydrogen could become both industrial feedstock and future energy carrier. Helium and cool MIR scanner and scientific instrumentation to temperature impossible with ordinary refrigeration. Suddenly, the atmosphere was just air. It was a vast reservoir of raw material, but there was one enormous obstacle. Spreading those gases seemed almost impossible at all. You cannot simply fill oxygen from nitrogen like sand from water. The molecules are corruptly mixed together, moving constantly through the atmosphere. For centuries, scientists could identify individual gases in laboratories. Producing them on an industrial scale was another challenge. Entirely, the breakthrough came from the end of the 19th century. One German engineer would quietly change the industrial history forever. His name was Carl von Lindt. Unlike the inventor, Carl Lindt wasn't searching for a way to save oxygen. He was trying to solve a completely different problem: refrigeration. Factories need better way to reserve food. Rivalries needed reliable cooling. City demand larger refrigeration system. Then they became fascinated by the physics of extreme low temperature. They discovered that gases behave in remarkable way when comprehends are expand and cool under the right condition. It was something invisible as air can become liquid. Imagine pouring the atmosphere into glass. It's impossible. Yet at around minus 160 Celsius, nitrogen becomes liquid. Oxygen follows at approximately minus 183 degrees Celsius. Because it gas liquefy and later boil at a different temperature, they can separate using carefully controlled cyclogenic distillation. The principle resembles boiling water from a mixture of liquid with different boiling point, except instead of cooking ingredient, engineers are separating the atmosphere cell inside the normal industrial air separation unit. The atmosphere air first passed through sophisticated filtration system. Thus, it remove moisture, eliminate carbon dioxide, is trapped because it would freeze solid surface temperature. The remaining air comprehends under emits pressure, then cool again until eventually the atmosphere becomes liquid. It's the one of strangest transformation in modern industry. Some completely invisible suddenly flow like water. Inside during the stimulation column, the liquid air begins separating nitrogen with it lowering boiling point rise toward the top. Oxygen concentrate lower down, argon form between them. What entered as ordinary air leave the multiple high purity industrial product. Its destination for an entirely different purpose. The technology was revolutionary. For the first time in history, humanity could manufacture at the atmosphere. Industrial accelerate during the 20th century. Demand slow. Steel reduction required vast quantity of oxygen. Chemical plant consume hydrogen. Hospital increasingly depend on medical oxygen. Aerosonic manufacturer demand on ultra nitrogen. Entire industry emerged that seemingly could not exist without large-scale gas separation. Carl von Lindt invention had quietly raised something much larger than refrigeration company. It had created an entirely new industrial sector. Around the same time, another visionary engineer, short course, advanced cryogenic technologies in France and found what would eventually become air liquid across Europe and later North America. Company raised to improve the efficiency of separating air. Larger plant, higher purity, lower energy consumption, better distribution. The business overly rapidly, but an even more interesting formation was taking place when these companies were merely selling oxygen or nitrogen. They were selling reliability. A steel mill cannot afford to run out need oxygen for even a few hours. Semiconductor operation plant cannot pause production while waiting for nitrogen delivery. Hospital cannot simply postpone surgery because oxygen supply arrives tomorrow. Industrial gases had become something closer to electrical, actually or water. Continent unity, visual infrastructure that customer expected to available every second of every day. That expectation would fundamentally shape the industry business model. Unlike oil, coal, or metal, industrial gases often aren't transported across the continent in giant cargo ships. Instead, they are frequently reduced in a few hundred meters away from the customer. Sometimes the gas company they build it on its production facility inside customer factory. The business model, unlike any other in the industrial world, it has explained why a handful of companies have quietly dominated the industry for generations. Because they don't simply sell gases, they build invisible lifetime that entire factory cannot survive without. Selling something nobody can see. The natural gas company built one of the world's strongest business model. Imagine opening a business that sells water, not bottled water, not failed drink, just water. At first, it sounded like a terrible business. Water everywhere, now imagine selling air. That's how it's more impossible. After all, every person on earth has access to it. Other company like Lin, Air Liquid or Aeroduct roll into business, worth millions of billion dollars combined by selling something that costs nothing to collect. That's why it's surprisingly simple. They don't sell air, they sell certainty. To understand why, imagine you are one of the world's largest steel mill. Now every minute you blast furnace operates, it consumes enormous quantity of oxygen, not only oxygen. Industrial oxygen deliver at a precise pressure and flow rate. If the supply stops for even an hour, reduction doesn't simply pause. Molten metal begin cooling. Equipment experiences thermal stress. Restarting operation may take days. The financial losses can reach millions of dollars. For steel reduction, buying oxygen isn't like ordering office supply. It's producing uninterrupted production. Now imagine operating semiconductor fabrication plant. Inside the clean room, thousands of tools is constantly consumed. Ultra high purity nitrogen, not 99% per, not even 99.9% per, often 99.9999% or higher. The gas continuously or tech sensitive equipment for moisture or microscopic contaminate. If nitrogen purity suddenly drop, the factory doesn't merely risk slowing production, it risks destroying what millions of dollars. Again, the customer aren't paying for nitrogen itself, they are paying for reliability. That distinction changed the entire industry business model. Unlike our company, industrial gas producers rarely load their products onto giant ships and send them around the world. Transporting gases is surprisingly difficult. Many occupy enormous volume. Others require extremely high pressure. Some must remain colder than minus 180 Celsius. Moving them over a long distance is expensive. Instead of transporting gases to factories, the industry often bring the factory to customer, drive past the modern steel mill, oil refinery, or semiconductor fabrication plant. You may notice something unusual nearby. Stand enormous silver tower, network and isolated point, large storage tank, scientific equipment. Many people assume that facility belong to factory itself. Okay, often they don't. They belong to company like Lin, Air Liquid, Aeroduct. The company frequently build on-site air separation plant is directly beside their customer concept is elegantly simple. Rather than releasing oxygen hundreds of kilometers away and transporting it every day, they manufacture it a few hundred meters from where it will be consumed. Pipeline connect the gas line directly to the customer production line. Oxygen flow continuously, nutrition flow continuously, iron flow continuously. The customer barely notice. The gas simply arrive every second of the day. This arrangement are a extraordinary relationship. The industrial gas company invests hundreds of millions of dollars shrinking baseline infrastructure. The customer sign contract that often last 15 or even 20 years. Both sides the company deeply connected. Neither one receptive fail. For the customer, changing the supplier isn't as easy as requesting a lower rate. Replacing a supplier may require constructing an entirely new production facility, installing new pipeline, requalifying operating condition, interrupting manufacture. The cost can be enormous. This rate one of the strongest competition advantages in modern industry. Economists often describe this in terms of switching costs. Industrial gases represent one of the per example. The relation itself may appear interchangeable. Oxygen, nitrogen, but the infrastructure delivering those gases is anything but interchangeable. When a gas supplier becomes entered into a customer operation, the share often lasts decades. This explains why the industry electric company enjoy monthly stable revenue. Unlike consumer business that constantly compete for new buyer, industrial gases company frequently grow by spending alongside existing customer. When a semiconductor manufacturer build another fabrication plant, its gas supplier often build another air separation unit. When a steel company enrich solution, additional oxygen capacity flow will happen together. This is why investors sometimes describe the industrial gases as one of the most resilient business model in manufacturing. The company don't simply sell the product; they become part of the unit infrastructure. In many cases, customers stop thinking about gas entirely. Just as of it, workers rarely wonder where the electricity comes from. Factory managers expect oxygen and nitrogen arrive continuously without interruption. When everything works, nobody notices. That invisibility is precisely the point. Of course, not every customer requires entirely reduction plan. Hospital may receive liquid oxygen delivered by insulated tanker truck. Machine shop often use compressed rat like cylinder. Food manufacturer store liquid nitrogen in massive cryogenic tank, refill on scheduled delivery. Smaller laboratory purchase specialized gas mixture with portable like calendar. Different customer, different delivery method, yet underlying promise remain identical. The gas will always be there when needed. By quietly solving the one industry most fundamental problem, companies like Lin Air and Aeroduct with build businesses with salary economic precedent. They rarely attract public attention. Consumers seldom recognize their logos. Yet behind the scene, the pipeline stretch for thousands of kilometers. Their cryogenic plant operate around the clock. Their engineer manage one of the most essential utility network in the modern economy because one factory begins depending on invisible gas. Though gases stop being symbolic, they become infrastructure, and nowhere in that more vast. Inside what the humanity oldest and most demanding industry, the industry that still consumes more industrial oxygen than any other steel. But for the oxygen behind steel, while one visible gas transformed the world's most important metal. Long before smartphone, long before artificial intelligence, long before semiconductor fab filled with billion-dollar machine, there was still built gateway that connected continent. Still raised skyscraper to city skyline. Still carry ship across ocean. Still reinforce bridges, power plant, airport, and factory. Even today, despite the rise of digital technology, modern civilizations still consume nearly 2 billion tons of steel every year. It remains one of the most important materials ever produced, but few people realize the modern steel making depends on something almost visible. Not iron, not coal, not oxygen. Imagine standing beside the blast furnace. The structure tower more than 30 story high. Inside temperature just 2000 degrees. Iron or cold limestone, and on the descends slowly through the furnace, while superheat air blasts upward from below. Chemical reaction strip oxygen away from the iron ore, leaving behind the molten iron. This process had powered civilizations for centuries. That modern iron ore alone isn't steel. It contains too much carbon. Too many impurities, too many unwanted elements that make the metal brittle and difficult to control. Turning a molten iron into high-quality steel requires another transformation, and that transformation begins with oxygen. Inside the basic oxygen furnace, a giant vessel to slightly 800 tons of molten iron are poured inside. Then, from above, a massive cold water lens slowly descends. At first, nothing seemed unusual. Then, a stream of nearly purely oxygen in drop downward at supersonic speed. The oxygen strikes the surface of the molten metal with incredible force. Almost instantly, violent chemical reaction begin. Carbon combined with oxygen from carbon monoxide, silicon oxidized, phosphorus oxidized, manganese oxidized impurity disappear one by one. The furnace glow brilliantly. Flame per siren. It opening the reaction release enormous amount of heat, allowing the process to continue with astonishing efficiency. In less than an hour, 100 of ton molten metal are transformed into steel without oxygen. This conversion would take much longer, consume more energy, produce low or quality metal. The invention of basic oxygen furnace in the 20th century revolutionized global steel production. Factory that one required many hours could now reduce steel in fraction of a time. Productivity soared, cost fell, entire economy expanded. Behind that revolution stood an industrial gas that most people never noticed. Today, steel manufacturing remains one of the largest consumers of industrial oxygen anywhere in the world. Some integrated steel plants consume thousands of tons of oxygen every single day. The demand is so enormous that transporting oxygen by truck would be completely impractical. Instead, companies like Linde, Air Liquide, and Air Reduction often construct massive air separation plants directly beside the steel mill. Oxygen never enter the delivery truck. It travels through dedicated pipeline 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for years without interruption. To steel production, oxygen behaves almost like electricity flowing through power line. It simply expects to be there every second of the day. But oxygen isn't the only gas quietly shaping modern steel. Another gas far less famous, than equally important role, argon. Unlike oxygen, argon is remarkably unreactive. Chemistry call it noble gas, meaning it resists forming chemical bond with other element. That unusual property make it invariable useful. After oxygen remove unwanted impurity, steelmakers often inject argon into the molten metal. Tiny bubbles rise through the liquid steel like bubbles in boiling water, but the bubbles aren't healing metal. They are stirring it. The channel mixing distribute temperature evenly. It helps the salt gas escape. It allowing element to blend uniformly throughout the molten steel. The result is clearer, leaner, more consistent metal with fewer microscopic defects. Again, the gas itself disappears. The customer never see it. Yet it invisible work improve everything from automobile frame to suspension bridges. Nitrogen also had a place inside modern steel making. Depending on the type of steel being reduced, control amount of nitrogen may strengthen certain alloy or improve corrosion resistance. In other situations, engineers work carefully to prevent nitrogen from entering a molten metal because excessive amount can reduce toughness, even when not nitrogen isn't intentionally added. Controlling its resistance becomes another symbol of how invisible gases determine the final property of steel. This is the remarkable reality of industrial gases. They rarely become part of finished product in obvious way. Instead, they shape the manufacturing process itself. They accelerate reaction, protect material, protect impurity, control temperature, improve quality without changing the appearance of the final product. They fundamentally determine how that product is made. The company like Linde, Air Liquide, and Air Product still had long been one of their largest and most reliable market. Every expansion of steel mill creates demand for larger air separation unit, more oxygen, more argon, more nitrogen. The gas company now roll alongside the steel production. Their business become intertwined for decades, but the important as steel is, it no longer represents the industry-rated technological challenge. In the 21st century, another customer began demanding gases for entirely different standards, not thousands of tons of oxygen, but molecules so pure that the few unwanted items could destroy billion-dollar reduction run. The customer wasn't building skyscraper, it was building microchip. And inside those semiconductor factory, industrial gases would become even more critical than they were in steel, because unlike steel, the purity is measured in percentage. Semiconductor manufacturing measure purity in part per billion and sometimes even part per trillion. The visible business of industrial gases was about to enter the most demanding frontier. Part 5. The invisible fuel of high technology, where the world's most advanced chip factory depend on the invisible gases. If steel is the industry that consumes the largest volume of industrial gases, semiconductor are the industry that demand the highest perfection. A modern steel mill may use thousands of tons of oxygen every day. The semiconductor fabrication plant use far smaller quantity. Yes, every molecular matter inside one of the TSMC advanced fabrication facility built up transistor manufactured every single day. The machine operates with astonishing precision. Extreme violet light print circuit pattern only by a few nanometer wide. Robotic system move silicon wafer through hundreds of careful control manufacturing. The clean room are among the most controlled environment ever by humanity. Visitor must wear full body protective suit. Air continuously flow downward through massive filtration system. The particle invisible to human eye are treated as serious threat. Even this accelerated level of cleanness isn't enough, because the rated temperature often cannot be seen. Oxygen, moisture, microscopic contaminant. At scale more than semiconductor manufacturing, ordinary air become an enemy. This is why nitrogen has become one of the most important industrial gases in the digital economy. Not ordinary nitrogen, the ultra high purity nitrogen. The purity often excess 199%. Some manufacturing steps require even higher specification, where impurity are measured in part per billion or in part per trillion. To appreciate why this matter, imagine trying to paint a masterly white tiny rain of sand continuously fall to the canvas. Every rain leaves a defect. Now replace the painting with a silicon wafer contain billion of transistor. One microscopic contaminant can ruin an entire chip. One defective chip may represent thousands of dollars in lost value. One contaminated production path can cost millions. This can act as an invisible shield throughout the fabrication process. It continuously flushes moisture and oxygen away from the sensitive equipment. It will take chemical during storage. If blanket the interaction chamber before the dedicated manufacturing step begin, it carries wafer safety through automated system. In many cases, engineers don't even notice it represents exactly the point. If nitrogen is doing the job properly, nothing happens. And if semiconductor manufacturing nothing happens enough, it often the best possible outcome. But nitrogen is the only beginning. Hydrogen also play a crucial role inside the modern fabrication plant. During certain manufacturing process, hydrogen helps create carefully control chemical environment. It removes unwanted oxidize from metal surface. It also in heat treatment that improves transistor performance. In advanced telegraphy system, hydrogen also helps protect sensitive optical components from contamination. Without carefully controlled hydrogen atmosphere, many critical semiconductor processes will become far less reliable than the helium. The most known helium as the gas that makes balloon float. Inside the semiconductor factory, however, helium has an entirely different purpose. Exceptional thermal conductivity makes it one of the best cooling gas available during plasma etching and wafer processing. Helium efficiency transfers the heat away from the liquid silicon wafer, helping maintain the stable temperature required for nanometer scale manufacturing. Even high temperature variation can slightly expand the material. At the ordinary scale, such expansion is significant. At 3 nanometer, it matters, because modern semiconductor manufacturing isn't merely about building smaller transistors. About controlling every physical variable, stimulating the sleep temperature, pressure, humidity variation, contamination, gas composition. Every factor must remain astonishingly stable. Perhaps the most fascinating gas of all is one that mostly Nowadays, outside the semiconductor industry, we think about neon. Unlike nitrogen and oxygen, neon is relatively rare. Most people associate it with colorful and appetizing sign. But inside the advanced artillery system, highly purified neon become part of the laser technology that generate the light needed for chip manufacturing. Without extremely pure neon, the power excimer laser used in many artillery systems cannot operate reliably. That fact attract little public attention for years until 2022. The geographic tension disrupt supply from Eastern Europe. Semiconductor manufacturers suddenly confront an uncomfortable reality. Gas commonly associated with glowing storefront sign had quietly become one of the critical materials supporting global chip industry. Once again, the visual product review itself to be strategically important. The deeper one look into semiconductor manufacturing, the more remarkable the picture becomes. Every major process depends on invisible molecules are working behind the scene. Nitrogen protect is then clean is helium, coal, neon, enable, laser, argon support last generation during etching and depositing. None of the gases become part of the finished processor. Consumer never see them. Technology reviewer never mention them. Yet remove any of them. The revolution quickly slow or stop entirely, each other depending explaining why industrial gas company maintain some of the closest relationship with semiconductor manufacturer, case such as lean air, liquid or air product don't seem to deliver cylinder of gas to chip factory. Many operate dedicated on-site production facility capable of supplying ultra high purity gases continuously 24 hours a day. Complex purification system remove contaminant down to a level almost impossible to imagine. Specialized pipeline transport gases directly into a clean room without exposing them to outside environment. Every valve, every filter, every connector, every method of piping must preserve purity from the production plant on the way to the manufacturing tool. Because one contamination enters the system, it may already too late. In many ways, the industrial gas network surrounding the semiconductor fab resembles its calculatory system. The electricity power the machine, but visible gate keep manufacturing progress alive. Without them, $1 billion hierarchy tool become silent. Robots stop moving with chemical reaction increases. The factory itself cannot read the semiconductor, only the one chapter that much larger story, because the same visible gases also sustain intensive care unit inside hospital, rotate food transport across continent, and even lift rocket beyond Earth atmosphere. The world's most advanced technology may appear completely different, yet many of them still rely on the very same invisible molecule. Part 6. Hospital, food, and rocket. The visual gases that quietly sustain everyday life. When most people hear the word industrial gases, they imagine factories, steel mill, chemical plant, oil refineries. Massive industrial complexes are hidden behind security fences. What they already imagine is a hospital or a supermarket or a space launch. Yet so the world most violent moment depend on exactly the same invisible product that power heavy industry. The difference isn't the gas itself, it's how the gas is used. Consider oxygen inside steel mill. Oxygen accelerate chemical reaction powerful enough to melt hundreds of tons of metal. Inside the hospital, the very same element perform entirely different tasks. It keeps people alive. Work through the intensive care units of modern hospital. Almost every bed connect to a one outlet supplying medical oxygen, ventilation, the emergency room, operating theater, neonatal intensive care unit, ambulances. None of these systems rely on ordinary atmospheric air. They depend on the oxygen that has been verified, tested, compressed, monitored, and delivered under strict medical standard. Every second patient breathes oxygen reduced hundred or sometimes only a few hundred meters away from the industrial separation plant. During the COVID-19 pandemic, this invisible supply chain suddenly became visible. Hobbies around the world experience unprecedented demand. Entire nation rushed to expand oxygen reduction. Tanker truck carry liquid oxygen became critical infrastructure. Roman monitor oxygen inventory alongside hospital capacity for many people. Oxygen had always seemed unlimited. The pandemic reminded the world that medical oxygen is not simply air, it manufactured product, while requiring sophisticated purification, storage, transportation, and continuous quality control. Industrial gas companies suddenly found themselves operating the front line of global healthcare. The same company supplying steel mill were also supplying hospital. Their business had quietly become the part of modern medicine, now considered another invisible gas. Nitrogen, unlike oxygen, nitrogen currently attached public attention. Yet it lay a atomistic role in reserving good. Imagine freshly harvested strawberry or seafood unloaded from a fishing boat or a cut of a bit designated for restaurant thousands of kilometers away. Tell me they rated centimeters every minute. After harvest processing, biological activity begin reducing quality traditional freezing work, but it often freezes slowly. Large size restore from the inside, so texture changes, flavor suffer. Liquid nitrogen offer a completely different approach. Approximately minus 196 degrees Celsius. It frees food almost instantly. Tiny ice restore reserve the original calculus structure far better than slower conventional method to reserve food. Taste fresher than after morning storage. This technology has quietly transformed the global food industry. Frozen inevitable seafood, ready-made meal, premium dessert, and many on the quality to invisible cloud of evaporating nitrogen. Consumer already noticed. They simply enjoy products that are tasty, remarkably fresh. Nitrogen but from another equally important tap after food had already been packaged. Walk through a supermarket and simulate a perfectly chip appear filled with air. In reality, manufactured intentionally blend oxygen with nitrogen before sealing the bucket. Why? Because oxygen causes oil to oxidize. Oxidation creates stale flavor. Nitrogen prevents that reaction. The bag remains crisp. The food lasts longer. Again, the gas disappears before anyone thinks about it. It's a set like precisely it remains unnoticed. And their helium, the most people encounter helium only by birthday body. Inside hospital, however, helium become one of medicine's most valuable resources. Anything is resonant, imagine better, know what? MRI, they depend on extraordinary, powerful, superconducting magnet. The magnet operate only at temperature close to absolute zero. Liquid helium provides cooling. Without it, superconductivity disappear. The MRI scanner tough functioning, no medical imaging, no diagnosis, no treatment planning. Unlike balloon, MRI system cannot simply substitute another gas. Helium unique physical property make it exceptionally difficult to play. They become irreversibly important to as a global helium supply to fluctuate. A gas associated with separation had quietly become essential for modern healthcare. And then there's Bay field machine demonstrate humanity engineering ambition more dramatically than rocket. Towering launch vehicle seem powered by fire, explosion, thunder, enormous engine. Yet before ignition come something far less dramatic. Hour before launch, technicians begin filling with rocket with invisible liquid oxygen, liquid hydrogen, sometimes liquid nitrogen for cooling and purging system. Every transformer occurs under careful control temperature. Every valve operates with extraordinary precision. The flow themselves are astonishing. Liquid hydrogen must remain near minus 253 degrees. Liquid oxygen near minus 133 degrees Celsius. Managing the psychogeric fluid is among the most demanding logistic challenge in engineering. Company specializing the industrial gases posted decade of expertise handling exactly the condition. Knowing are only developed for factory now support launch pad, while the mission belongs to NASA, Space Exploration, European Space Agency. Industrial gas technology remained at an essential part of every countdown. Long before the engine ignite, the invisible work had already been completed. But after the more remarkable characteristics of industrial gases, The same oxygen can manufacture still sustain extensive care patient or live astronaut tower orbit. The same nitrogen can protect semiconductor wafer, research frozen food, or maintain high cryogenic storage. For biological sample, the same helium can cool scientific instrument, enable advanced medical imaging, or support aerospace research, one industry colored application. Yet despite serving so many different sectors, the market remains dominant by only a handful of companies. That rate an intriguing business question. If industrial gases are so essential, why don't hundreds of competitors enter the market? Why had this invisible industry remain concentrated on hand-up commodities like lean and liquid or air reduced for decades? The answer very little to do with chemistry and everything to do with the one of strong economic mode ever built in modern industry. Box 7. The business nobody can copy easily. Why the three companies quietly build one of the strongest economic mode in the world? At first glance, the natural gas build seems surprisingly simple. Take air, separate it into oxygen, nitrogen, and argon, compress into gases, deliver them to customer. Repeat that on that. If that's all there is to it, why don't hundreds of companies complete? Why the industry remain dominated by a handful of them for a decades? The companies like Lean, Air Liquid, and Air Reduct continue supplying many of the world's largest factories years after years. The answer has some nothing to do with the gases themselves. It's everything to do with the infrastructure. Imagine someone offer to raise your home electricity provider tomorrow. You might compare prices, read review, sign a new contract. The switch is relatively easy because the infrastructure is already there. Now imagine releasing the company supply in oxygen to one of the world's largest steel mill. The situation is completely different. The oxygen arrives in a bottle. It doesn't arrive in the trunk. In the truck, often travel through a dedicated pipeline connected directly to enormous air separation plant. Specifically for that customer, that production plant may have cost hundreds of millions of dollars. The pipeline stretches across the customer facility. Control systems are integrated into manufacturing process. Backup system warranty interrupted operation. Replacing that supplier doesn't simply requiring system requiring signing a new contract. It may require constructing an entirely new industrial complex. They want a stronger competitive advantage in modern business. Economists call it a high switching cost. Industrial gas company call it elevated. One industrial gas supplier become embed beside a customer operation. The relationship often lasts for decades. Contract lasting 15 years are common. 20 years agreement are not unusual. Some industrial partnerships continue even longer. The reason is simple. The gas company isn't merely delivering oxygen. It becomes part of the customer factory. The business model is especially visible in semiconductor manufacturing. When a company like TSMC, Samsung, or Intel build a new fabrication plant, the investment doesn't stop. Lithography machine and lean room, entire unity system must be constructed around the fab. Ultra high purity gas production, cryogenic storage, purification system, pipeline network, continuous monitoring equipment, emergency backup capacity. Every component must work together flawlessly. Our industrial gas company frequently participate from earliest state of the factory design. Year before the first silicon wafer enter production, engineers from both companies are already working together, planning demand, designing infrastructure, optimizing purity level, planning for decade for future expansion. By the time production begins, the partner had already become deeply integrated. Changing supplier later would mean redesigning part of the infrastructure from the ground up. That makes the mission remarkably different from most manufacturing industry. Right matter, but reliability matter far more. Imagine saving 1% on oxygen cost. On the two-liter reduction, worth hundreds of millions of dollars because of the supply interruption. No factory manager would consider that a root change. This is why industrial gas company invest enormous resources into reliability, motor compressor, backup power system, duplicate pipeline, emergency storage tank, remote monitoring center operating around the clock, predictive maintenance powered by artificial intelligence. Customers are paying only for molecule. They are paying for confident that the gas will continue flowing tomorrow, next month, next year, and 10 years from now. That reliability has made industrial gases one of the most attractive business model on the stock market. Unlike industry driven by changing customer tastes, the industrial gas demand tends to remarkably stable. Hospital only require oxygen. Steel mill continue reducing steel. Food manufacturer continue freezing production. Semiconductor fab continue manufacturing chip. Economic cycle may slow roll, but on the flying demand rarely disappear. As a result, company like inadequate aeroducts often generate steady cash flow year after year. Investors sometimes destroy the math quiet compounder businesses that rarely dominant financial headline yet consistently roll over decades through long-term contract, recurring revenue, and exceptionally high customer retention. Scale of another enormous advantage. Building a modern air separation unit require specialized emerging cryogenic expertise, advanced automation, and substantial capital. Operating hundreds of such a facility across dozens of countries requires something even more valuable: experience. Every new project benefit from knowledge accumulated across thousands of installations. Every improvement reduces operating costs. Every efficiency risk reliability over decades. Those advantages compound. Smaller competitors face an almost impossible challenge. Even they can reduce access of identical quality. Can they build global pipeline network? Can they finance $1 billion infrastructure project? Can support multi-million dollars customer operating facility on multiple continents? Can they guarantee uninterrupted supply for decades? The barrier to entry become enormous. The one industry leader had to remain remarkably consistent. Lean and liquid aeroduct. The deposition were not built on a facile advertising campaign. They were built on one byline, one production plan, one long-term customer relationship at the time. Perhaps the most fascinating aspect of this business is that success often depends on remaining invisible. Because consumers never choose to company supply oxygen to hospital. They better ask which industrial gas company support the semiconductor factory producing their smartphone processor. Then when notice the byline hidden behind the steel mill. And that is precisely the point. The infrastructure work so well that disappear from public attention. The better the company perform, the less anyone think about them. Yet behind every invisible byline lies one of the most powerful business model in ever, not because the product area, but because just the industrial gas company discovered the remarkable truth: selling molecule was never the real business. The real business was becoming indispensable. One factory depends on your infrastructure. No longer just another supplier, you become a part of factory itself, and to have the stand why the world's most essential industry remain most entirely hidden from public view because the rated businesses are not always the loudest. Sometimes they are the one quietly keeping the entire global economy breathing. Part A, the industrial tree that sell air, while the most invisible business may be the most modern on earth. Walk into your kitchen, open your refrigerator, take out the bucket of frozen vegetables, drive across the bridge on your way to work, unlock the smartphone, visit the hospital, watch a rocket launch. At first, the moment seems completely unrelated. Different industry, different technology, different buzz. Yet hidden, every one of them is the same visible foundation. Industrial gases, not because oxygen, nitrogen, hydrogen are rare. Quite the opposite, they are among the abundant substances on Earth. The salary achievement line transforming those ordinary molecules into the reduced pure enough, reliable enough, and reliable enough to support the modern world. That transformation had quietly become one of the humanity's greatest industrial accomplishments. Perhaps that sounds like an exaggeration. At non Hamburg and Canada company, if the main product is here, The answer becomes clear when we imagine the opposites. Imagine waking up tomorrow to discover that industrial gas production has stopped, not permanently, just for 1 week. Steel mill begins shutting down as oxygen supply disappear. Semiconductor fabs suspect conduction because ultra high purity nitrogen can no longer effectively manufacturing equipment. Hospital activate an emergency reserve while desperately searching for additional medical oxygen. Food processor lose access to liquid nitrogen used for rapid freezing. Chemical plant slow reduction. Oil refineries reduce output. Rocket launches are postponed infinitely, and global economy would not collapse because the electricity disappear. It would trickle because invisible molecules stop flowing. That thought experience reveals something profound. The natural gases have quietly become form of infrastructure. We normally think about infrastructure at road, railway, port, power grid, internet cable, but there is another network hidden beneath the modern civilization. Thousands of kilometers of industrial pipeline, cryogenic storage facility, air separation plant operating 24 hours a day. Specialized tanker fleet transporting liquid gases across continent. More control center monitoring pressure, volume, and flow every second. Most people never notice this system, yet they are just essential as highway and electrical network. Perhaps this explains why companies like Lin Air Liquid and Aeroduct rarely receive the attention given to technology giant. Consumers never interact with them directly. There are no product launches. There are no advertisement during major sporting events. No queues outside store waiting to last release. No, their customers are not video. Their customers are entire industry, and because the industry depends on them every hour, every day, the company have become deeply woven into the fabric of global economy. In many ways, they represent a little kind of innovation, an innovation that capture headline, but innovation that quietly accumulate over decades, building more efficient air survey unit, reducing energy consumption, improving gas purity, developing safer cryogenic storage system, creating smart byline monitoring technology. Every improvement is somewhat invisible, yet together they make modern economy more productive, more reliable, and more resilient. The future may make the company even more important. Hydrogen is increasingly viewed as potential low carbon energy carrier for industry that are difficult to electrify. Carbon capture technology rely heavily on gas separation expertise. Semiconductor manufacturing continue to demand even higher ability standard. Transistor approach atomic dimension. Healthcare system require growing supply of medical oxygen at population age. New industries are emerging, yet nearly all of them require the same core capability, the ability to separate, purify, transport, control gases with extraordinary precision. In other words, the future will demand exactly the industrial gases company has spent more than a century learning to do. The one history recurring pattern. The industry that appear ordinary today often become indispensable tomorrow. Actually, was one novelty. The internet was one an academic experience. The standardized shipping container was one considered a little more than steel boxes. Industrial gases follow a similar path. They began a scientific curiosity. They evolved into the industrial unity. Today, they quietly support nearly every advanced manufacturing progress on Earth. Perhaps the right lesson of this story is not about chemistry, not about engineering, not even about this. It's about perspective. The modern economy is built upon a countless invisible system that most people never notice. Celebrate smartphone. We celebrate smartphone where they are the ultra pure nitrogen that protected their manufacture. We have miscarried already the oxygen that help produce that still we just hospital. Rarely the industrial manufacturer deliver the life-saving oxygen every second, which rocket launches. We rarely the cryogenic gases loaded 100 before ignition. The world's most transformative industry often success precisely because they disappear into the background. They become so reliable that we stop thinking about them. Perhaps that is the ultimate measure of range infrastructure. Not everyone notices it, but that's not everyone has to, nobody has to, because when visible system work perfectly, civilization keep moving forward. The next time you hear someone describe the World Electric Company, you may mention technology giant, automaker, and energy producer, but behind all many famous names stand quite an industry that doesn't manufacture a smartphone, build aircraft, or launch rocket, yet make all those achievements possible. Industry that took more ordinary substance surrounding every human being, their excel, and transform into one of the most valuable businesses in the global economy. Sometimes the greatest company don't create entirely new resources. It simply teach the world how to see honorary value in what has been there all along.